Good evening, Clown World. Mic check. Can you hear me out there? Welcome back. If you're hanging out, smash the like button. Hit the subscribe if you haven't already. Tag the bell for notifications so you will be notified for future streams and uploads. Just doing a quick update for Bitcoin and the markets tonight. Just want to give you the general vibe of where we're potentially going this week. And with that in mind, I am your host with the honks, Jason Bruce. We're going to get rocking into Clown World here. I'm going to jump on over to the S&P ES1 E-mini futures. Start the broadcast off with the futures and this big picture that I'm seeing for the S&P here as we broken out of this falling broadening wedge. It looks like it's potentially created a massive inverse head and shoulders pattern. Target of this pattern would take us directly up to the area of confluence with the all-time high right around 4,800. So I do see a massive rally in play for the S&P right now. Keep in mind we are well above the resistance that we were battling for quite a while. When we do zoom out here on this 3-day view, we are battling a point of control right now, currently on the VRVP. And if we do get a breakout and a closure above that level, which it looks like we're working on right now, very likely this move will play out, as it looks like we have already retested on this breakout. If there is a denial at this level or a rejection and a pushback below this point of control, I would look somewhere around this area around 39.63 for us to bounce off of this support and this downtrend line to confirm it on a more firm retest if we do see a rejection here. However, with the current momentum, I am not seeing that rejection as having a high probability to play out. So 4,800 is the macro target for the S&P on this breakout. It's a massive move, folks. You know, you're talking about more than a 20% swing from the bottom. Actually, well more than a 20% swing. We were down around 3,500 at the bottom. So to move all the way up to, 4,800, you're actually talking more like a 33% swing, which is a very large swing for the S&P. So we'll take a look at the DXY real quick. This is encouraging as well. 4-hour time frame is breaking down after being denied at this overhead downtrend resistance line. So I do see more consolidation and downward trending for the dollar, hopefully to that 100 level and below. So right now what I'm seeing for Bitcoin, more than likely we are looking at a potential breakout in progress on swinging over to this 7-minute view here. And we do have what is a little bit of an ascending triangle here in this pattern. As we swing out, we can see we're in a larger triangle pattern and a bit of a broadening or ascending wedge or channel here. So what I'm seeing right now is that we just want to negotiate this level in this triangle and then this other level here around 23,387. So if we can make some progress above that level, maybe get a 4-hour closure above that level, I do believe we'll be making some progress towards 24,000 again. And I'm going to zero in on the daily close for Bitcoin. Grab a different chart here. It's going to be a clean chart for us. That's something new around here. So what we're seeing right now is another green candle forming after a green bullish engulfing candle here from yesterday. Did close well above the middle Bollinger Band, so that is a bullish sign for Bitcoin on the daily. We have held this structure well above the 200 daily moving average, with the point of control well below that, around 16,880. So right now I don't see us revisiting that anytime soon, given where the stochastics RSI momentum is at. We are trying to swing back up now after what looks to have bottomed out in the oversold territory just a couple days ago. With this candle that briefly swung below that middle Bollinger Band. We didn't get much of a wick there. We then got that bullish engulfing candle, and now we do have the blue above the red indicating possible bullish momentum for the stochastics RSI. So we just want to see that move back into this neutral territory above this 20 level so that it can start to gain some more momentum on this daily picture. But it does look good right now, and more than likely the probability is that we're going to be breaking out of this flag here, which I did discuss on the last stream, is a bit of a broadening wedge. So, typically when I look at this ascending broadening wedge, I don't usually look at that as a quote-unquote bullish pattern. But with the momentum of the market right now and the past history that we've seen in Bitcoin, more than likely this pattern is going to give us continuation to the upside. So I'm going to jump over to Ethereum right now. And I did draw a similar pattern for Ethereum with this ascending triangle structure just a few minutes before I jumped on the live. And now we can see that it has broken out above that level on this 15-minute time frame, with the price action currently around $1,682 for Ethereum. So that indicates that Ethereum is following Bitcoin. And I do believe that we're going to see some strength come into the markets here as the week progresses, and we do try to make a additional push here up towards the 25,000 range for Bitcoin, which could take us up to around 1838, 1841 area for Ethereum. So I do think we have that momentum. I do think the market structure is there. I'm going to make a slight adjustment on this flag because I do believe we're more in a parallel or uptrending channel right now, given what we saw on Bitcoin. So on this 12-hour time frame on Ethereum, we're looking strong here as well. Once again, well above the 200 daily moving average, and well above this point of control, which is down around the $1,216 level. So we are looking to build momentum in that area. Mana is building some green candles right now as well, in a similar flag to Ethereum on the 12-hour time frame. And from what I'm seeing here, we do have the ability to potentially visit the area over $1 here in the short term. And I think things are looking pretty good. So never mind the bat phone in the background. We'll ignore that for right now. Do have some people joining the chat here. It's up to Ryan out there. It's up to Tassine to here. And Xavier Ostrowski. Hey, we've got XCH Guide in the chat as well, just joining us, so welcome to him as well. So I'm just going to jump over real quick to the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index. We did just get a reset on that. So we are now dipping just into the area of greed at 58. So that's something new. We were in greed briefly last week. Yesterday we were neutral. We've kind of been waffling around that area after spending last month in extreme fear. So right now the markets are looking just a little bit greedy, but I believe there is still some more upside before we really want to be looking at potentially looking for this move to play out and momentum to shift. So I think there's at least a chance that we move up to this $28,000 to $30,000 level where we do see this resistance right now. Just need to negotiate that 25K area, and I think we'll be looking pretty good. So with that in mind, swing back in here on Bitcoin. We'll try to get an idea of where the hourly momentum is at. We are above the point of control right now, so that is a positive sign. We're building some candles here with some longer wicks up top, which isn't necessarily always the best sign. It's a little bit of an ascending channel as well. So we do want to try and negotiate this area around 23,343, where we did get this tweezer tops before. So right now the hourly is looking favorable, as once again we are above this point of control. If we do come back down and revisit that at the middle Bollinger Band, you're probably looking at support somewhere around that $23,000 level. If we do have to revisit that briefly, not a big deal. I think we should continue to move up and out of that as we do look at the 4-hour stochastics RSI momentum. And that has actually flipped into this overbought territory. We're well above the point of control there. And you can see here this broadening wedge. There is a good chance for the price action to revisit the top of this wedge here. Potentially somewhere around 24.8. And I believe I did have the 24.8 level highlighted on my Binance chart, along with a bunch of others, obviously. As we zoom in here, you can see that, yeah, right around 23,777. You can call it 23.8. Or excuse me, 24.8. That's what we were looking for. So right around here at the top of this broadening wedge, I do believe the price can work its way back up there. So just a brief market update for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Real quick, any altcoins out there, any other coins or any other aspects of the market that people would like to take a look at? Any questions that you might have for me while I do have you in the chat? Tassine Tahir is asking, should we see a retrace first? Well, right now, as I did just go over, we do have the momentum both on the 1 hour and the 4 hour above the point of control. We'll zoom in just a little bit onto the 15-minute time frame. And we're still trying to work above this level here in this sort of a triangle. Which if I'll zoom in on Ethereum again, we did get that breakout on that already, on this ascending triangle structure. So we do want to get confirmation on that for Bitcoin. There's another, overhead resistance and spider line for it to negotiate as well. But sometimes we do see Ethereum front run on these breakouts. So that may be the case here. It's looking pretty strong. So in terms of that question, should we see a retrace first? And keep in mind, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. Do not take anything that I say or do on this channel as financial advice. Please get yourself a financial advisor and do your own due diligence before jumping into any coin trade or investment. So with that in mind, it looks like Bitcoin is negotiating the level of this triangle right now. And I think it does have a chance to continue to move up in the short term. So should we expect a retrace? I think that's kind of questionable right now. I'm looking more for 24 to 25K. XCH Guide is asking, how is TRX? I have it, but haven't seen charts for it in ages. We can take a quick look at TRX. Take a look at Tron versus US dollar tether on Binance. This is kind of the same picture here on this 12-hour. We're in this flag here. And maybe even a little bit more of an ascending triangle here for TRX. So that could be construed as a little bit more of a bullish pattern. Got a little bit of a cup type of an action there as well. Formed a bit of a double bottom here with the swing wick low and a higher swing wick low. If we take a nice measured move on that and assume that we are going to break out right here at that point, about 9.6 cents for TRX, just under that 10 cents level. So it could potentially represent a decent long trade position from here. So you got about a 5-to-1 risk to reward ratio and about 45% gains coming for TRX potentially into April of this year. So TRX not looking too bad. You know, once again, if Bitcoin plays nice and continues to gain momentum here, these alts are going to follow. It looks like that's what's happening right now. We're seeing a nice green candle for Ethereum. I'm going to jump on over to the total 3 so that we can get an idea of what the total market cap is looking like for the altcoins. And once again, we are in this flag structure here, very similar to what we're seeing on other charts. Price action did bounce off of this point of control. This is all looking right in line with what we want to see. So let's just try and make this move up to around 470 billion, get some gains into the altcoins, and yeah, hopefully things will be looking favorable for the overall markets. So this all looks good to me, folks. Just something to keep in mind on Bitcoin right now that I just wanted to point out. And, you know, we can see this type of movement right now where, you know, right now it does look like it's bullish. We are moving back up, but we do have to, you know, keep in mind where our stochastic momentum is at and where this pattern may potentially top out in relation to some of these resistances. And in relation to what type of a pattern we may actually be printing here, because this may be a Wyckoff distribution. So you can see here there is some similarity to what we're seeing right now. So we're looking at potentially the area of this secondary test. So we want to avoid that by creating a new high. And I think if we create a new high here in this structure where we break above 24,245 and close a 4-hour candle above that, that'll invalidate any sort of Wyckoff distribution, and that should confirm that we do have more of a sustained uptrend intact. So that's my take on Bitcoin right now and where the markets are at. We did have a significant breakout once again in the macro on the S&P. This is hugely encouraging for the overall markets. When we see the larger markets moving like this and breaking out of a really large macro structure and macro downtrend, it lends to me that we are going to have some more upside action. And there is a possibility that this move is going to be fairly swift, and that we do see, you know, some more downside after that, or, you know, a bit more bear market action into the summer. So we do need to be cognizant of taking profits over the next few months. The philosophy of sell in May and walk away may become very important as we do move into that time period. So just something to keep in mind, folks, in terms of what we're looking at and where we might be going. Any more requests for altcoins, anything else that people might want to ask, any other questions, queries, concerns about the crypto markets or clown world? Or just let me know how you're doing out there, folks. Smash the like button for me as well. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. If you're hearing or seeing anything that is any relevance or value to you, we're going to be bringing more content to you, hopefully daily going forward. So just keep that in mind. And yeah, we're here to keep banging it out, folks. So I think that's about it. It's actually about dinner time for me. I'm going to go have some flautas for Taco Tuesday here. So, not sure what you're all having for dinner tonight. Maybe drop me a comment. Let me know. Push the algorithm for me, folks. This is a young channel. We're just starting to grow here, so do what you can. Smash that like button, subscribe, leave me a comment, whether it's positive or negative. We are trying to spread positivity on this channel. But if you do have something, constructively negative to say, let me know. If it's really negative, then, we'll deal with that as well. But I think that's about it, folks. Okay, so XCH Guide is asking to explain RSI. So I can explain RSI. We'll just break this down real simply for the purposes of kind of what I went over in the last few minutes. So RSI is the relative strength index. That strength wanes and builds with the strength of your price action. So as the price action goes up, you're going to see the RSI tend to build, and as the price action moves down, you're going to tend to see that RSI move down. So there is a direct correspondence with that price action. It is a bit of a lagging indicator. There are a few things that you want to take a look at to give you an idea of what the markets might be doing with the RSI. So you do have this oversold territory down here. Anything below this 30 level would be considered oversold for the RSI. So anytime you see that dip down there, it's usually a pretty good buying opportunity. You won't necessarily see that dip down there for all assets, usually the ones with more volatility. So when you're looking at a larger asset like the S&P, when you get this swing down here and you're almost in this oversold territory, you rarely see that. So really it tells you it's a buying opportunity. And historically, swinging out, we've only seen that once recently, where we did have the panic crash of 2020. We did dip well below into that oversold territory there. So there is that aspect of it. So there's the low end, and the high end sort of corresponds to that as well. If you move above this 70 territory, you're in overbought territory, and that's where you can potentially look to take some profits. Other things that you want to take a look at on the RSI are divergences. So you can see divergence build with the price action depending on where it may swing down or swing back up. So if we swing over to Bitcoin here, I believe right now we do have some divergence that's building on this 4-hour time frame. So if you take a look here, your swing down on the RSI corresponding to this candle here, and you want to take the candle body, not the wick. So when you're looking for divergences, look for the bodies, not the wicks. You have this candle body that's higher than this one. Okay, so we do have this on, actually this is just swing down to swing down and swing down to swing down, so that's not necessarily a hidden bullish divergence, but it is what's called a bullish divergence. So we do have that there, so that's something to heed. Here, this is a good one. So you can see here on the RSI, we did have this swing up, corresponded to this swing up in price action. And the next time we had a swing up to a higher high, this RSI did not swing up as high. So this is actually what's considered a hidden bearish divergence. Bearish divergence will be in this overbought territory. Bullish divergence will be on the bottom. So bullish divergence on the bottom, bearish divergence is on the top. And when we do see this with a swing on the RSI that is corresponding lower to a higher point in the price action, that always tells us that there's a very good probability that we're going to see a quick dump, at the very least back down to the bottom of whatever pattern we might be in. So that's what we saw in this case. And that has created the current price action that we're in here, with this sort of a broadening wedge and a lot of wicks. So you can also extrapolate this out even further. Keep in mind you can use your RSI to draw patterns that do correspond to the price action patterns. So we may be looking for this area right here. If this RSI breaks out of this overhead resistance that was created from this previous bullish divergence that has already played out, then we could be seeing a larger breakout of this pattern that we've been looking at and going over when I did jump into the stream here on Bitcoin. So I hope that helps clear up the RSI a little bit. Another thing to keep in mind is you do have this mid-level here at 50. A lot of the time this will denote whether you're looking at, strength in trend or weakness in trend. Above 50, especially when you see like a bounce or a candle bounce off of that level, that means that you're gaining strength. If you see a denial here where you can see there was consolidation here, consolidation around the 50 level, and then it drops, obviously you're going to see a little bit of a downtrend and consolidation before we can start to move back up. So the RSI can be used for quite a bit of things. What it really does help for when it comes down to it is more of the macro picture. So I'll swing out to the macro picture on Bitcoin too. Let's see here. Take this all-time history index. We're going to go out to an 8-day chart, so this is a little more of a macro view. And we can see how the RSI has interacted in the past. Okay, so what tipped us off at this previous top here around 69K? Once again, this was a massive hidden bearish divergence right here. So we had this swing wick high way into the overbought territory, and this next swing wick high did not even make it into the overbought territory. It was rejected there and swung back down, and that indicated that there was a large downtrend coming. So we didn't reset here until we hit this oversold territory, and now what we've created is a hidden bullish divergence, because we do have this RSI trending up. We have this swing down here to around the 17K level back in June of last year, and then we had the FTX crash where we swung down lower on the price action but still higher on the RSI. So that showed us that there was the likelihood of this breakout coming, which corresponded to the wedge pattern that we've been negotiating here. And that's where we're at. So that kind of gives you an idea of how to use the RSI and hidden bullish and hidden bearish divergence. And you can see right now as well, if you want to, use this 50 level as a, an area of confluence, we do have price action is consolidating above that 50 level. So that's showing strength on this 8-day RSI. So I hope that helps clear up the RSI and what it can do for you in terms of price action and divergences. That was just a quick crash course. There's a lot more that goes into reading the RSI than that. But keep in mind you can draw patterns within the RSI to correspond to price action, and you do want to look for those divergences. There's other types of divergences as well. There's different classes of bullish divergence. So that's something to go over at a future date, potentially, is how some of those different divergences can play out over time. But you can see the power of those divergences. The larger they are and the more they are likely to play out on the macro, the larger possibility it is of you getting an impulse move. So that's what we're looking at right now in terms of the move that we've made recently for Bitcoin. So that's a quick crash course on the RSI. Anything else, guys? Any other questions? Anything else on your mind tonight? All right, guys, I'm going to rock and roll. I've got dinner and a few other things to jump into. Thank you all for jumping on. I do love you all. God bless you. Thanks for jumping on the stream. Again, smash that like and subscribe button. Make sure you have a fantastic evening, and Clown World out.